welcome to March 2 of the pod presented by Eternal Roofing. This is season 3, episode 19 of a podcast that, some technical issues from the producer today because, well, he's really not computer savvy. But we're talking about how the Cats survived Delaware, and we're hunting the Blue Raiders. I think we should hunt whatever the hell a Blue Raider is.
Yeah.
That's weird. Have you ever heard? Maybe they're the Blue Falcons. Have you know what that term means?
I don't. It's a new one to me.
If you don't know what a Blue Falcon means, look it up. Blue Falcon, Army or military phrase. You will learn something about it.
All right.
I'm just saying. We're presented by Eternal Roofing. Roofing you can trust with your home, but can't tell you the reason why you have to look up Blue Falcon. I'm Cory Hogue, your host, producer, once band member of catfans.com. Find me on social media at Cory Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. The question this week is, will I do the thing that Cats fans don't want me to do? As always, I'm joined by the real ball knower of this podcast. He's the man behind at Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, the COO of the Cat Fund, proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. And Benjamin, we got a busy show. Let's jump into our Bearkats Weekly ReKap. And there was a lot more signings across multiple sports, including a couple in basketball that kind of grabbed my attention a little bit.
Yeah, on the men's side, we can start there. Rylan Kelly, he's the first one that I'll mention, a guard from Florida playing at one of the prep schools out there. I believe it's Southeastern Prep. I forget the exact direction of the name of the school, but 4-star recruit on ESPN. I believe it, and I looked as far back as I could on all the sites. Believe it is the first 4-star recruit in the program's history, 6'4" guard. Really good, can do everything, is great size, super athletic, and he's going to be really exciting. Another guard that looks like he can make an immediate impact next year. And then Xavier Roberson, 6'7" forward from Dynamic Prep. That's where current guard Jacoby Coleman went. Another prep school, one of the top prep schools in the country, and super lengthy, super athletic, super high motor, can do a little bit of everything. I think he's going to be great on the defensive side of the ball and rebounding it. So 2 exciting signings there. And then Amya Hall, another one for women's basketball, 6'4" forward, so really good size. She was the starting forward for Summer Creek, who won the 6A state title game last year. So 3 really exciting signings on the hoop side.
Yeah, and the baseball side had a few as well, a couple junior college guys.
Yeah. So they got a couple commitments also from some junior college guys this week, signed their high school class. So a pretty big high school class that a lot of people are high on. Some guys from some smaller schools, and that's what you typically have done a lot of in the past, and you find your diamonds in the rough. And then also had some guys from schools like Kingwood and Memorial, who are traditional kind of baseball powerhouses in the Houston area.
Yeah, it also gives me an opportunity to say, I saw the Sammy baseball hat. I saw it. I can't find it to buy. It needs to be in retail stores. Not that. No,
I know, but that's another
the
one.
Sammy hat that they were wearing in those shoots, man. The one that, like the on-field black with the orange bill, that's where you're going to make your money on your merch.
Yeah, and I know we hit on it a couple months ago, but the Sammy rollout has been a little disappointing.
Yeah, but hey, we're in a festive mood today, as you can tell if you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. It's all festive at this time. So let's talk a little more about men's basketball. They lost last week, 85-79 at Utah. That's a really good showing against the tough Utes program, Ben.
Yeah, a team that looks much improved in Utah. I think they were picked last in the Big 12. I don't think they finished there because, they have the talent and athleticism to play, and kept it within 5 pretty much the entire first half. And then Utah started 9 of 9 from the field and 6 of 6 from 3 to start the second half. And that lead kind of ballooned to 20, but you got it down to 2 points with 20 seconds left, had a chance to tie or take the lead, couldn't convert, and then it turned into a free throw game, and you lost by 5 or 6. But a really good showing, and this team just continues to grow. A really young team that's showing progress, and the young guards and Matt Dan at center. The youngsters are just kind of growing up in front of our eyes, and they have a big test tonight also.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this program. Looking forward to this one. Tonight. So, in other words, you're watching this podcast likely. I mean, most everybody in the country is, right? And then as soon as it ends, you're going to gather up all your family, all your friends. You're going to head to Johnson Coliseum because Wyoming visits tonight at 6:30. Now, if you can't make it, like me, I'd be a bit late. I live 5+ hours away. You can watch it. I'm guessing it's on ESPN Plus. I forgot to actually.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look at that.
It is. Yeah. ESPN Plus 6:30.
That's one that I could see being on linear television, that like a CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, because I know the Mountain West and Conference USA have that affiliation with CBS Sports. It's also Greek night, so hoping the fraternities and sororities show up. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty good environment tonight. From
That
what I'm
mean
hearing.
the Oikos is given out, or
maybe. Never know.
Hey, you can expect bad jokes from this guy. And then Saturday afternoon, 2:30 p.m., right in the middle of the football game, they're hosting Schreiner at Johnson Coliseum, a D3 program, the Mountaineers, and that's one they should probably handle pretty easily.
Yeah, biggest hope there is to just handle it, get out healthy, and then get on the road for another road trip for 2 games in Idaho next week. So yeah, the big thing there is just to be healthy coming out of that one.
Yeah, they have they head to the Idaho Classic over Thanksgiving weekend.
They spent Thanksgiving week 2 years ago in Florida, last year in Myrtle Beach, and now they get to go to Idaho. So just a slight downgrade from the last 2 years.
I like how you said get to, not have to.
They get to, yeah.
That's the positive mindset. On the women's, speaking of positive, on the women's side, we've seen some offense. The defense is what we thought it was. They won 2 games last week. They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 78-44, and then they beat Prairie View A&M 77-49. That's first off, 2 things that I want to point out, and I'll hand it over to you, Ben, for real analysis. First off, those are the types of margins you expect to see this Bearkats team beat the SWAC schools by. And the other thing is we're finally seeing some promise of some offense a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely been better the last 2 games. And they're starting hot, too. I think both of the first quarters were around 30 points apiece. And another big sign against Prairie View the other night is you got Annika Corcoran back. She missed all last year due to injury after transferring in from Detroit Mercy. Missed the first couple games, played a little bit against Pine Bluff, but got a lot of minutes, and she scored 16 points and was really efficient from the field. So that's a big lift there, and field goal percentage was around 50% against Prairie View, which was really good to see, and really handled Pine Bluff on the road. And Pine Bluff really pushed Louisiana Tech for about 30 minutes last night at Louisiana Tech. So definitely moving in the right direction. The defense is doing what it's supposed to do. Fontecone getting Player of the Week awards from Conference USA after her performance against Pine Bluff. I think it was 18 points, 7 assists, and 12 steals. So this team is starting to trend in the right direction. We'll see what they can do going forward.
Tomorrow night, big test. This is going to be a pretty good one, I think, at Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah.
And then they host North American, the Stallions. Is the women's team the ladies Stallions?
I don't know.
Weird. 6:30 Tuesday at Johnson Coliseum. They host North American. But yeah, that ULM game tomorrow night is going to be I think it's going to be a decent little barometer.
Right. Yeah. Not a SWAC team, so getting out of the SWAC, but another kind of Sun Belt Conference USA American type of opponent. Very comparable to what you'll see in conference plays. So we'll see what they do. But a game that if they could win, they just continue to trend in the right direction.
We're going to go ahead and get to this one. Justin Hernandez watching on YouTube. He said, just a friendly reminder, always listen to Mama, especially on Sunday mornings, Justin. My mama said we will end the season with a 4-game winning streak. # lock it down with the LOCK. I like how you put LOCKE for later lock. That was
hinting
I
at
see what
something.
you did there, Justin. I see what you did. We're going to talk about that. A 4-game win streak. I can't say it's not going to happen. That's the type of positivity you get out of me now.
There is a shot. I mean,
There
you can't say there's not one.
Chance.
Yeah.
But that's going to continue with a game this week. But first, before we get into Middle Tennessee State, which we will later, we're going to come back from this message from our friends over at Eternal Roofing, and we're going to review the nice victory the Cats had over Delaware.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And last Saturday evening, the Blue Hens, the Fighting Blue Hens, came into Shell Energy. And, the teams traded punts on the first 6 possessions of the game, which we're going to get into some of this later on. But Delaware then broke through the scoring drought with an 8-play, 88-yard touchdown, took an early lead. Another Sam Houston punt on the ensuing drive, and the Blue Hens drove 60 yards in 12 plays, kicked a 37-yard field goal for an early 10-0 lead. Again, we've seen this script in every game this year, except the script changed a little bit. Because after another Sam Houston punt, Cats defense got a little spark when Antavious Fish forced this fumble that was recovered by A.J. Sargent.
Sean Wilson's capitalized tonight. 4 catches, 63 yards. Been targeted 5 times and has 4 catches.
Direct
Fumble!
snap.
On the direct snap, Sam Houston has recovered.
Everyone in the stands yelled fumble.
all 75 of them. Yeah. Well, and another thing too with the broadcast, did you know that Delaware had the flu?
We're getting there. We're gonna get into that. It's definitely in the recap. You could not go without knowing that.
I know.
I really felt bad for Minicucci. I was surprised he was even out there with his IVs in his arm and stuff. A.J. Sargent, where did he go to high school at, Ben?
Somewhere near Wichita Falls or at Wichita Falls.
It was in Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls Rider High School no longer exists, but he was there. I remember. He was pretty good. He was one that the MSU was trying to get to stay locally, and he was like, "Nah, fam, I got."
Tarleton guy too at some point.
Yeah, no, he went to Tarleton. I believe initially he went JUCO, then Tarleton, then somewhere else, and now he's with the Cats. But thankfully, he got that fumble recovery. 4 plays later, Coco Brown got the Cats on the board with this 2-yard touchdown.
First and goal from the 2-yard line. A man in motion to the left. They go up the middle for the touchdown. Misdirection as O'Neal was sent off to the flat. And Sam Houston gets into the end zone late in the second quarter.
I love the design. You give the linebackers and defensive backs something else to look at with their eyes. And another thing, Ben, that you're going to hear me say a lot through this broadcast, really good blocking by the O-line.
And a good play call because you're just leaning on him in the run game from the 2-yard line. And I'm pretty sure it was this drive too. We didn't show it, but the first play after that fumble, they tried to take a shot deep. I think I mentioned that last week that it seems like the only time they really try to push the ball deep is after a turnover. Happened at Oregon State. That's when Batoyer hit Chris Reed for the touchdown. Saw it there. So I don't know, just something to watch after turnovers. It kind of feels like that's the only time they try to push it down the field.
I'm a fan of that. Also not surprised because when you're on sidelines a lot of times, if there is, you will hear you hear a lot of teams yell big change, right? Big change, that momentum change. And you'll hear it. It's not every team, right? But you will hear it from both sides of the ball, which is letting the offense know, hey, here's our time to strike, and it lets the defense know, hey, watch out, they might try to strike.
Right.
I like it. I'm for it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I wish we'd do a little more of it.
Well, yeah, especially, if you get into a second and short, there haven't been a lot of those this year. We
Yeah.
get a lot of long goes. And now the Sam Houston defense forced another 3 and out, and the offense drove 47 yards in 10 plays, set up this 33-yard field goal by Christian Pavon to tie the game at 10 heading into the locker room for halftime.
From 33 yards. It's up and it's good. Christian Pavon.
And it is good. And the Cats go into halftime tied at 10. And you know what? At that point, you had to go, they're in this game.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah. Especially after how you started, and then you kind of took the momentum back, and then the Christian Pavon roller coaster experience continues.
Oh, it does. But
thankfully, it was a high.
We got the good Christian Pavon last week.
Yeah.
So then the second half, the Cats opened 9-play, 55-yard drive. We talked about Pavon. He hit a 48-yard field goal on this one. Where am I at? There I am. Here we go. 48-yard field goal.
Christian Pavon's long for the season 51 at New Mexico State. High snap, the kick is up. And good. Christian Pavon.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ben. I'm not used to having this many highlights. It's a lot of videos I had to download.
Got a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, I'm like, man, where did that one go? Usually it's not hard to find.
I know. Well, and it was a lot of different scores, too, with how many field goals there were.
It was. Hey, that was a good one. That was another good, and you could see the confidence in Pavon with that field goal as well. Like this guy was he was feeling it that night.
You could hear it off the foot on the broadcast.
Oh yeah, he's got a leg. We know he's got a big leg. Accuracy is the question. Then the Cats forced another 3 and out, evidently because Minicucci had the flu. Poor guy. The offense showed no concern for his health, however. And Coco Brown hurdled the defender on his way to this incredible 62-yard touchdown run that gave Sam Houston a 20-10 lead.
Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4. Back to the ground. There's a hole. And a hurdle at midfield. Sensational! To the house! Coco Brown!
Okay, all right. Look, I'm gonna make a little bit of a change here to what I was gonna do because I'm bringing that one into the studio. We're adding that on.
First and goal from the 2-yard line.
Oh, wrong touchdown.
Yeah, wrong touchdown.
We'll watch it again, though.
Right touchdown. Do what?
We'll watch it again, though.
We would. Hold on. And then I make it. Yeah. See, this is why I shouldn't be doing things like that, right? Hold on. Let me get us back to our normal setup.
I was shocked it didn't get on SportsCenter Top 10.
Yeah. How did that one not? Like this was this run. Let's see. Field goal. There it is. All right. So I'm going to turn the volume off on this one as I bring it on to the stage here. And this play, first off, I want to mention right off the bat that this is tremendous blocking again by the offensive line. You look at when he develops this, that hole is massive. He literally has just the one guy to beat.
Yeah, it doesn't get touched until he's like 7 yards upfield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was incredible. And then he jumped. This is a 3-yard. Like, this is a heck of a hurdle. He had to be a really good hurdler in high school, man.
Yeah. He got up.
He did. But here's the part that made me laugh, and the reason why I wanted to put this up here. Watch those two defenders that are trying to get him as he goes to hurdle. This cracked me up.
Friendly fire.
It's like we got him. No, we don't.
Yeah.
Watch one more. Oh, he took out his own guy right at the hips, and from then on, it was touchdown city for Coco Brown, and you had an outstanding job there. And we're going to hear about that in a minute. We got some post-game audio. We had players in the post-game this week. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And so we have some audio from him on that run. We will get to it in a minute. But then Sam Houston's defense, they weren't done. They forced a lot of turnovers. And this one was Cecil Powell picking off this pass from, listen, obviously Minicucci was ailing.
500 yards per game, just 206 so far tonight. But time for Delaware, down by 10. Minicucci has a clean pocket. Fakes and throws, intercepted!
He felt so bad, he pump faked when he should have thrown. Oh.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, hey, great job by Powell, though. He's made some good plays this year.
Another guy in the secondary, him and C.J. Brown in the secondary that just kind of have a knack for the ball.
And what did that lead to, man? Another field goal, Christian Pavon. You can't be Conference USA Player of the Week unless you're kicking like 5 field goals. Here's a 23-yarder from Pavon.
Can Pavon make it 3 for 3? He made a 48-yarder earlier in the quarter. This one is a chip shot from 22. It's up and good. Pavon 3 for 3.
Chip shot. Like, has that dude ever stood out there at the 12 and tried to kick a field goal?
It's a good point. They were at, I think, the 6-yard line. It was good to see them. And obviously it's a little bit of a different game because you're ahead, but, not play call with as much desperation. I feel like maybe earlier in the year you go for that in that kind of situation maybe. So I don't know. It was good. And not just that one, but the 48-yarder earlier, the other 48-yarder was good to see him put some trust in the kicking game and not play with a ton of desperation.
I am a big fan on when you have the momentum, you keep the momentum, right? And if you got to settle for a field goal, even though no one wants a 23-yard field goal, we understand that's not normally how you win games. If that's what you need to do at that point because you have a lead and you're adding on, you take it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get it, then you've given all momentum over to the other team, and that's never a good thing that you want to do from a coaching decision.
Right. Yeah. So good to see a little less desperation.
By the way, I've seen a lot of coaches in the NFL make bad decisions the last couple of weeks, man.
Yeah.
With things like this, like 2-point conversions or something, just totally changes the momentum of the game.
Yeah, I think it was the London game early on Sunday. The Dolphins went for it on like 4th and goal from the 3 with a minute and a half left instead of kicking a field goal to go up by 3.
How about Dayball?
Yeah,
Dayball had 3rd down and 1 a couple weeks before, and instead of trying to smash the ball into the end zone, he throws a pass incomplete and kicks a field goal. Then he gets fired. You know why he got fired? Because it was the dumb decision. He had all the momentum right there. They came back. They ended up losing that one. There was one Sunday night, too. There was one, the Eagles.
Oh, yeah,
I was
Sirianni.
like, what are you doing? Why are you going for that? You're giving them a chance.
Yeah, you sent me a text saying, what is Sirianni doing? I'm like, what is going on with baseball? Because I turned it I turned it off there in the 4th quarter because it was like 10-0 and nobody was scoring.
Yeah, see, I'm a sicko. I just keep it on and watch the whole game, regardless. Even if it's like 70-0, I will stay there. I have an illness. Okay, the offense. They got that field goal, right? Next possession, what did the defense do? They forced the 3rd turnover of the game on this strip sack from Christopher Eaton Jr.
Wilson has 6 catches, 108 yards. He keeps it. He's under pressure. He's fumbled. Who has it? Sam Houston celebrating. The high specs coming out again.
That is one, and I know I've got it down here in the notes, but might as well go ahead and say it. 8 sacks by the defense that night, Saturday night. That is what we were hoping to see early, and we're finally seeing pressure applied to the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think Eaton had 3.5 of them.
Oh, he was a beast, yeah.
Yeah, big night. And he was there in the postgame, too, and rightfully so.
And we will hear from him as well about the defense and these turnovers. But the offense, they didn't make that turnover. They didn't turn that one into points. They did the first couple. Got to appreciate that. So the game headed into the fourth quarter, and Delaware became desperate this time. Ben, we saw the other team make a desperation decision, going for it from 4th and 1 at its own 21-yard line. Cats came up with the stop because that's what happens when you get desperate.
Yep.
The offense turned that into another 3 points with 48-yard field goal. If you start a drive at the 21-yard line and you kick a 48-yard field goal, that means you lost 10 yards on the drive. But don't worry, Christian Pavon has got the leg for a 48-yarder.
Pavon from 48, it is up. And it's good. Christian Pavon had made 2 field goals all season.
With 12 minutes to go, that kick was crucial to make it. Put them up by 2 scores.
Yeah, it almost, it's not 3 scores, but it almost feels like 3 scores because Delaware would have to 2 touchdowns and convert both of the 2-point conversions. So getting to 16 is just super, super nice.
Oh, and you knew 2 scores was like 5 because Minicucci was over in the hospital on the sideline with the flu. And Justin said, Ben, I'm so glad you said that. They mentioned Delaware had the flu so much that I ended up catching it myself.
That's the running joke I'm trying to make.
It was all the time.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, and it was a lot. Didn't have to be that much.
No.
The Blue Hens did make it interesting, though, with 2 touchdowns late, but a 36-yard field goal attempt with 21 seconds sailed wide, and the Cats hung on for the 26-23 victory. Some highlights: Christian Pavon, Conference USA Player of the Week. Coco Brown, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns on 10 carries. That's a really good average. And the defense with a season-high 8 sacks on Minicucci, who probably should have been in the hospital, but he showed tremendous courage in competing in a near-death condition.
The parallel to the
young man.
Yeah, I know, right? The parallel to the Oregon State game there at the very end was just wild. The drop passes, both on the right corner of the end zone, on the left side of the field. It was weird how eerily similar it was.
Here's what head coach Phil Longo had to say after the game.
I'm happy for the guys like I was last week. This is number 2, so you always like when that stuff becomes a habit. It's also the second ugly win, but we'll take it. And I think the one thing I've seen from these players in the last 2 weeks is the fight that we knew they had, and the fortitude, and the perseverance, and we're starting to learn how to close the show a little bit. So this is number 2. This is what we want. We talked about heading into this month. They remember what you do in November, and right now we're handling that the right way.
Was that really an ugly win, would you say?
I think how they finished it was ugly. I think the first probably 3.5 quarters was, or maybe not the first half of the first quarter, but the good chunk of the middle of the game, I think you were the better team by far.
I would say it was way more aesthetically pleasing than Oregon State.
Yes, the chart of how bad did you get beat. Delaware was still, I'm sure you've seen that chart, but Delaware still was technically the better team, but it was not by nearly as big of a margin as it was last week.
No, that game against Oregon State, they had no business.
Yeah.
To be honest. All right, well, how about that hurdle from Coco Brown? Our man, Fobbs, he asked that question because Fobbs comes in with the good questions in the postgame. Here's what Coco Brown said about that hurdle.
That wasn't my first hurdle. It was actually last week against Oregon State. That was my first hurdle. But I seen the crease.
Running game, the hurdle. Can we what was going through your mind with that? Take us through that play.
Yes, okay. So that wasn't my first hurdle. It was actually last week against Oregon State. That was my first hurdle. But I seen the crease and I put all my faith in God. I jumped. And it was green grass after that. I had to make it to where I needed to go, It was amazing.
Yeah, the producer obviously forgot that he had gone back and restarted it. So that was fun. That made me go, huh?
Got to hear it twice. Yeah, it was a good answer. I'm sure he hurdled and was like, where did the defenders go?
He said, just saw green grass.
Just saw green grass. I know.
And he's fast, man. He's got some speed.
He's a big boy, too.
Yeah, he is. You can see in the video there, that man is stacked.
Yeah.
Speaking of a man that's stacked, Christopher Eaton Jr., he talked about the defense forcing so many turnovers.
All week long, we predicate ourselves on heist, and what that is we want to focus on punching the ball out, giving extra possessions to the defense. To the offense, to maximize our ability to win. So we practice it during practice so that on the weekends when we play, it's easier. And as you see, it's coming to fruition week by week. And it's just something that we're honing in on. And every week we're just getting better at it, and we're just going to finish strong, and continue to do that.
I mean, can't argue with what the man said there.
And honestly, it's been an all-year thing. I mean, as bad as the defense was at points for the majority of the season, they were forcing turnovers and punching balls out. I mean, you got to give them that. It's been all year.
And they have, like, the cheapest knapsack, like, I'm trying to think of the word. We used to fill sandbag type of looking thing. Like we used to have to fill to go to the eat chow in the Army.
You're starting to sound like Ryan Leaf, who said we were too poor enough to afford an actual money bag.
That was funny. But it does look like a sandbag.
A little bit.
Yeah, it does.
It's got some upgrades.
Why does the turnover prop have to look like it costs money?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a prop. It doesn't matter.
It's become a thing, though. It's a big thing now.
Oh, it has. It has become a real big thing. But, here's a question. Now you got 2 wins. Is this team more like the 2023 version, and maybe we didn't give them enough credit for that?
I think in the way they finished the season, they can be the 2023 team. Obviously, there are still 2 games left, and that team won 3 of 4, so you still got to win at least one. But the first 8 games, I don't think there's a comparable, or it's not comparable there, at least just because there were so many blowouts and not that many close games. I think the 2023 team lost 6 games by 1 possession in those first 8 games, and one of the other 2 was to BYU by 13, I think. So first 8 games probably not, but the last 4, they've definitely got a shot to be comparable to 2023.
I think it doesn't have to be fully true or fully not true. I think that this team is bad, and like we thought they would be bad. They're not real good. I think something else that's helping them is the last couple of weeks, and this week included, they're playing teams that are more on their level this year. And so that's giving them an opportunity to get some of these victories. Whereas before, the only game maybe they had a chance was Jack State. They should have won that one. Coaching cost them. But at the same time, Jack State's probably a much better team overall than the Cats were as well.
100%. Yeah, Jack State, you should have won. UTEP had a chance going into the fourth quarter. New Mexico State, you had a chance going to the fourth quarter. So, I mean, you had a couple, but there weren't that many. And I was talking with one of the guys over at MTSU last night, and he said it, and I totally agreed with him, that I think going into this year, you looked at this last quarter of the schedule and said that's where the majority of your wins probably are, with Delaware, FIU, and Middle Tennessee in this last quarter, and that's kind of what it's shaping up to be, it looks like.
It is, and also we can't be wrong if they've paid out the under 4.5 already.
Right.
For the season. Can't be wrong. I told you that was easy money.
I had us at 3-9, so
you did.
We might be right on it.
I can't remember what I had.
You had a floor of 1-11 and a ceiling of 11-1. I just remember that.
Right there, man. You can't go wrong if you cover everything in between, right?
Right.
Here's what Phil Longo had to say in yesterday's press conference, kind of wrapping up the game on Delaware.
We respected them going in, and I think they were what we expected. And we thought it was going to be really, really important to get off to a good start in this game. We wanted to get into a situation where we were a little bit more in control. We wanted to play better up front. We did that on defense. I thought we got started early, and we were physical, and we played well. We were getting off the field on third down, so I was very pleased with our start defensively. Offensively, we, like we have traditionally this year, we started slow and Landon Locke got his first start, and it took a little while to get him settled down. But I think at halftime, we went into halftime with some momentum, doing a good job on the last two drives. We knew we were getting the ball back in the second half, and we also, and this is what we've talked about all year, and it's kind of what helped us win at Oregon State. We needed to go up the ante a little bit. We needed to play a little bit better in the second half, make some plays, and give ourselves an opportunity to win going into the fourth quarter. And we certainly made it harder than it had to be, but and we made it interesting at the end. I thought we got the second win. The team's morale and the momentum is you can feel the energy in the building, and so now we are just closed the show on practice one for Middle Tennessee, and that is our only focus at this point.
So as you watch these on, I clip these and segment them because these answers can drone on in the press conference.
It's just typical coach speak.
It is. It's not like he's the only one that. No, listen, I would do the same with Keeler too, right? Like these guys can go. They can talk for a while.
Yeah.
He also had a few injury updates. One not so good for a player that we just adore here, and one that is really good for a player of the week. Ben, what were those updates?
Yeah, we'll start with the good. Christian Pavon should be fine. It sounds like he was kicking at practice yesterday, Tuesday, so he should be good to go, which is notable because RJ Lopez popped up on the availability report, and he was listed as out, so it's good that Pavon's ready. You do have a third kicker in Tate Ryan, so if you need a third, you had it. But, yeah, sounds like Pavon will be good to go. The bad news, and it is really unfortunate, Hunter Watson's season is done. Had knee surgery yesterday. Sounds like it was to repair some scar tissue that he kind of had flare up after the Louisiana Tech game, and just kudos to him on a great career. I originally put out yesterday in a reply that he could apply for the JUCO waiver, but his 5-year clock is out, so it does not sound like that is the case, and he's not going to get a medical waiver after playing 7 games this year. So likely his last collegiate game was against Louisiana Tech, and hats off to him on a great career and everything he did as a Bearcat.
He gave this program everything he had for 2 years coming over after winning a national title at Iowa Western. And so, yes, we're very, very thankful and grateful to Hunter Watson for everything he gave to the program. And you may not have liked some of the choices he would make at times, but you can't say he didn't put out his best effort every time, that he wasn't just a dog out there physically. Like, that guy was tough, he was strong, and he was going to fight for every yard.
Right, yeah. I mean, never questioned his effort, and when he was healthy last year, he was really, really good. I mean, you think about the Texas State game, he completely controlled that game last year. Liberty game to finish the year, he was incredible. Bowl game might have been his best game of the entire season. Won you your first bowl game in program history. So did a lot of really good stuff for this program, and I'm actually working on a piece right now for Cat Fund about kind of his time here as a Bearcat, what led him here, his tenure here, and then also what's next for the quarterback room, a little bit of scoop there too. So that should be out tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, a lot about Hunter Watson, a little bit about the future of the quarterback room moving forward.
Might see if I can't talk you into getting the part about Hunter Watson down to our Substack, just to kind of email out to people that are on the. And speaking of that, that brings me to this. If you're enjoying this show, help us grow by rating, reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to our Substack page, where you're going to see more content soon. By soon, probably month and a half, you're going to start seeing regular content. We're getting there. Yep. Cory's got a lot going on. But it's march2thepod.substack.com. March 2, thepod.substack.com. And find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube by searching at March2thepod. March 2, the pod. We're also proud members of the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable. They have shows covering all 12 CUSA programs. And our Podbean is back as well. You can find us on I'm telling you, I think we're on now about 15 or more platforms. I'd have to count, but we are in anywhere that I could find to get this podcast on. So wherever you find it, we appreciate you listening. Like it, rate it. That really, really helps.
I was going to say, too, I will be on the Blue Raider podcast Friday. We recorded last night. It airs on Friday. So game preview of this weekend with the guys over at Middle Tennessee.
I'm really glad that was last night. Otherwise, they might be mad when they look up Blue Falcon. We're going to get to a preview of the Blue Falcon Raiders. But first, let's hear another word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And we have more football this week coming up at 2 p.m. Saturday. Johnny Red Floyd Stadium. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. Middle Tennessee, that's where we're headed. They're 1-9 on the season, 0-6 in Conference USA. Cats are 2-8 and 1-5. Those are better. How could they be? Who's favored to win, I wonder?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Is Cory going to do that thing that none of you wants me to do?
We will see.
We'll see. They lost last week 42-26 to Western Kentucky at home, and their losing streak is at 7 games, Ben. 7.
There is a very hot seat in Murfreesboro right now from what I'm hearing.
Well, their head coach, Derek Mason, is only in his second year, so they're going to find some buyout money, I imagine. Although
they might, from what I'm hearing.
They might. When you're 4-18 and 2-12 in conference in 2 years, they can find some buyout money.
Yes.
Series history. The Cats lead the overall series 2-1. This is an interesting. I love series history. This one's really interesting to me. First game is in 1956 in Evansville, Indiana. It was a neutral site game that the Cats won. Then in 1991, the Cats visited Murfreesboro and lost 20-19 in overtime. And then, as many of us remember, 2023, the Cats took a 23-20 win in that season that finished it off in a game that ended in a bit of a kerfuffle.
Yep.
Middle Tennessee this year, they have struggled in one-score games. They're 1-4 in one, but they're playing close. They're also here's one for you. They're 0-5 at home, Ben.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, they only have one win, but it's not at home.
It's not good. It
not
is
good.
Not good.
They've had 10 different starters on their offensive line this year.
Another thing that's not good.
Not good. They also have a couple of guys that have officially entered the Get a Damn Job program. Safety Brendan Harris is in his 8th year of college football.
Wow.
What's he, 26, 20? Ellis Adams is in his 7th year of college football. Get a damn job.
And he's not going to start this week because of injury, but Nick Vattiato, who had been their quarterback the last 3 or 4 years, and all of this season up until last week, he's in his 6th year also.
Yeah, crazy, man. They play in 4 different time zones this season. Apparently, they think that's impressive. Cats go, get out of here. We got 5 different time zones this year. I had to look that up.
Cover them all.
That's right. Middle Tennessee has 6 coaches who have either played or coached in the NFL, including head coach Derek Mason. But like you mentioned, Ben, there's questions. Nicholas Vattiato and Roman Gagliano. Sounds like Gagliano is going to get the start this week.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing too. It sounds like he's going to get the start. He's kind of the guy of the future for him too. Had a nice first game for him against Western Kentucky last week.
They also have a running back that Phil Longo said to pay attention to, Jaquel Middlebrook. 551 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns. He's carried it 100. and 5 times. So let's take a look at the national stats and comparison here. When it comes to total offense, first off, these Cats numbers are getting a little better. They're not great, but they're getting a little better. Total offense, Middle Tennessee 90. We got Sammy over here with 120. Total defense, Blue Raiders 99, Cats 133. Scoring offense, this tells you it's going to be a heck of a good game. Middle Tennessee 113, Sam Houston tied for 124th, which is a big improvement for them. Scoring defense, Blue Raiders 124th in the country. Cats are 130th. Penalties per game. These are the two areas. These last two are where the Cats have had an edge a lot this year. The Blue Raiders are 102nd. That's not good. Cats are tied for 84th. It's a little better. Turnover margin, though. Middle Tennessee tied for 80th. The Cats tied for 22nd in the country in turnover margin. They have been pretty solid there, Ben.
Yeah, like I mentioned, they've got a knack for forcing turnovers. Yeah, and it's interesting to see this graphic because our numbers have gotten a little better, and Middle Tennessee's are very bad. They look pretty comparable this week.
They do. Let's look at them when it comes to conference. And total offense, the Cats moved from 12th to 11th. There you go. Middle Tennessee's 8th. Total defense, Cats are last. Middle Tennessee is pretty close. They're 10th. Scoring offense, Cats last. Middle Tennessee again. We're close. They're 10th. Scoring defense. These are the worst two teams in Conference USA in scoring defense here. Penalties per game, Cats are 7th. Middle Tennessee 9th. And again, turnover margin. Cats are 2nd in the conference. Blue Falcon Raiders are 7th in the conference. What do you see from some of these numbers, Ben?
Bad offense and bad defense on both sides. Which side's going to give this week?
Man, you just totally got me pumped up to watch the football game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wait till you hear what ChatGPT said about this game. Pretty funny.
Some real sickos football.
It is some real sickos football. Here is what Longo had to say about the offensive line for the Cats.
Colt and Luke have been our starting tackles. Isaac Sohn has seen some time where as guys get to a point where we feel like they can contribute to helping us win, we want to get them on the field. And so anytime you have depth at a position, you're going to play the depth. That way you keep everybody fresh. That's the same philosophy at every position except quarterback across the board, offense and defense. We have been up and down this year on the O-line. We had a 3-4 week period where I just thought we were systematically getting better. And you could see that in the offensive performance. We've been a little erratic the last couple weeks, and I think we're addressing some of those things. I think we're going to try to gear what we do towards the legitimate strengths of the offensive line. We're going to ask them to do a little bit less here these last 2 weeks in areas where it may not be a strength, just to maintain some continuity and keep improving up front.
I really, really have a positive and then a what the hell are we doing on that. And the positive is, yes, depth is good. Play guys, you keep them fresh. That's a good thing. But what the hell are we doing? You haven't geared all of your offense to the strengths of your offensive line this year? What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, and maybe some of that is James Don being out, but I do get where you're coming from.
Yeah, the Blue Raider podcast, dang it, they're listening. Well, then don't look up what Blue Falcon means. They call it, we do appreciate you watching on YouTube, the 2025 Charmin's Toilet Bowl. Is there any way you get that sponsored? Maybe they give some NIL to the winner or something, or the loser. Would that be what they did?
Yeah, I know. If they want to sponsor and give us some money, I think both programs would take it.
Yeah. Dude, some of these basketball tournaments are giving out $24 million in NIL now.
Yeah, Players era.
Crazy. All right, so we have heard this over and over and over this year. The offense needs to get off to a fast start. It has yet to do that. So our own Ben Sorrells has the really good question. What needs to happen to get off to a fast start? Here's what Longo had to say.
The key there is the run game. The games this year And we had a decent number, but the games this year where we actually moved the ball early and turned the chains, kept the defense off the field, I think it just bodes well for our defensive performance later in the game. You know, it's a cumulative effect on our defense when they have a lot of reps early in the game. And so when we have been able to control the line of scrimmage and we've been able to run the football, that's given us, a little bit more. We've been more efficient and more stable, I think. And it's given us an opportunity to move the ball and control the game and control field position. You know, two of the things that are just key every week. So the run game is going to be the key point there.
Yeah, I'm interested to. Yeah, and I'm interested to see what the play calling looks like this week because I think Landon Locke was 0 for 8 on the first 3 drives, and they were just trying to air it out with him to start the game last week. I do wonder if they try to use a lot of Coco Brown to start and take a lot of the pressure off of Locke because Locke was just clearly a little frazzled there at the beginning, and they've got to do something to get going early on because I know you've come back from 17-0 and 10-0 the last 2 weeks, but that's just not a sustainable way to win.
Who in their right mind sits in a room to prepare a game plan with a true freshman at quarterback and says, let's go air it out from the start?
I know for sure the first drive was 3 incompletions. I do remember that, which was very interesting to say the least.
Insane. It's insane. Even the professional, like Tom Brady, would love a couple of easy passes to get into a rhythm early. What in the world? Yeah, geez, man.
Or maybe it was just they have that much confidence in Locke.
Maybe. But I want to say that Locke, he's young. He's got some improvement to make. But early on, and a lot of times I've seen this early when he comes in, a lot of inaccuracy to him.
Yeah, and I think Lago talked about that in the postgame too, and I don't think we clipped it, but he said he was way too amped up there at the end. And I think he was making the right reads. The ball was just nowhere near where it needed to be.
The only fortunate thing about it is usually it's low when it's not where it needs to be.
And he's got that low arm slot too.
Yeah, that also helps. Well, he did have some other things that I did clip about the QBs. Let's see what Longo had to say about it.
Well, right now, with where we are at quarterback, it is a week-to-week deal. You know, as I said last week, almost all of the changes except one has been an injury-driven decision. But right now what we're going to do is we'll just assess Landon and Mabry moving forward and decide what we think is best for us with regards to winning each week's game. And so both of them are repping like they do all season. And they'll roll through the ones and the twos, and we'll make a decision at the end of the week.
Before we get to that one, I want Nicholas Thiel, if I mispronounced your name, I apologize. Watching on YouTube said with 2 drops.
Yeah, the Chris Reed one was really bad at the beginning.
Yes, there are some really bad drops sometimes from these receivers, and then there's times where I think they get credited for a drop that maybe they shouldn't. But the receiving core definitely plays a role in that as well.
Yeah, and the Chris Reed one comes to mind. I think that was one of the first 7 or 8 when Locke just couldn't find a completion.
Yeah, so it sounds like Locke is starting this week. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what it sounds like. Locke won the battle with Matoyer last week, and it sounds like it's trending towards Locke kind of be the guy of the future. Try to get him as many reps for next year. So I would be stunned if Locke is not the guy. Also know someone that was at practice today. Sounds like he's the guy. So I would expect Landon Locke out there. You might see both at some point, but I fully expect Locke to get the start.
I am so glad to finally have hope that he's moving on from Matoyer. Matoyer's just not the guy for this offense, especially not this year.
And he had a decent amount of opportunity this year. He had the start against Hawaii. He started against Oregon State. He came in for a little while against UNLV. And you could just tell, I mean, there were some flashes of it, but it just was not nearly consistent enough, and his pocket presence just wasn't the best.
There's an energy with Locke there that kind of he has it and Hunter brings it, and the offense just doesn't have it for Matoyer. And I don't know what the missing piece is, if there is one at all, but it's obvious that something's missing.
Yeah, and maybe it's a locker room thing too. Maybe Locke just brings a little more juice, and guys want to rally behind him a little more. I'm not speaking based on anything I've heard when it comes to that. But yeah, Locke just might bring a little more energy and juice to that offense.
Highly, highly possible. So now let's fully turn our attention over to the Blue Raiders. You're watching. I'm just going to call the Blue Falcon Raiders. No, the Blue Raiders, Cory. Dad nabbit. Here's what Locke had to say about Middle Tennessee State's offense.
You know, good running back. It's always interesting when you see a new quarterback. You know, you guys have asked me about the two quarterback or the change in quarterback situation a number of times because we've seen it a number of times this year. So it won't be any different than any other week in terms of just make sure that we are aware of who's on the field and aware of what their strengths are so that, you know, that's our focus while that guy is there. They're a little different with the two quarterbacks. They're not identical, and so that, you know, they might lean on the legs of one and the arm of another. Outside of that, I don't know if the approach is going to be any different. They have the opportunity to be explosive. They've got some players on the outside. They're big at receiver. You know, they've got some length and some athletic ability, and we certainly respect the RB. So, you know, we really have to continue to just focus in on what we do. You know, the last 2 weeks we have gotten better situational football defense, and that trend needs to continue. You know, for our defense to continue to see some success. So that'll be a huge emphasis going into Saturday's game.
All right, Ben, you got anything to add to the Middle Tennessee offense?
Yeah, not a ton. I know they respect Middlebrook, the running back, a lot. It sounds like Gagliano is probably going to be the guy at quarterback. He's the one that uses his legs a little bit more. So I'm sure we'll see that a little bit. But yeah, an offense that isn't great. Similar to Sam Houston, has had a lot of struggles this year. Yeah, and we'll see what they can do, but I fully expect Gagliano to kind of be the guy.
The Blue Raider podcast presented by Gold's Gym Tennessee, which I love that, by the way. Let's compromise with Blue Ponies.
Meet in the middle.
Hey, the way our football teams are, we'll compromise on anything right now.
Yeah.
What about that Middle Tennessee defense? Here's what Longo had to say on that, and also I believe this one has been clipped for brevity as well.
Offensively, you know, we're seeing another multiple team. I don't think they're quite as multiple as Delaware, but you know, they will line up in a mint or a bear front. They'll line up in 4 down. They are easily one of the more talented D lines we've seen this year. The 2 D tackles inside are there's some dudes, there's some players. And, you know, we fortunately for us, we don't have to guess where the D tackles are going to be. It's not like they have a safety or a backer or somebody that they can move around, and we've got to be aware. Even with a D end, I mean, you can move them around and do some things. But these 2 are going to line up inside. They're physical. They can knock you back. They can win with pass rush moves. They can get off blocks. They're good block to struck guys, and they're really, really physical. And they're used to playing a lot. They've got a lot of experience. So the battle up front with our offensive line and their defensive line will be key for us on offense.
I think that pretty well says it, Ben. What, you got anything else to add to the defense?
Yeah, I think we saw it with the stats a little bit ago. Their scoring defense, I think, is 10th in the conference, and we're 12th. And past 2 games, they've given up 40-plus. So they're reeling a little bit, see if they can get back on track. But it's definitely a defense that you get after, and we'll see if our offense can find some momentum on Saturday.
Am I really going to do that thing that every Sam Houston fan is dreading that I'm going to do this week? We're going to find out. But first, we get another word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing and an update on the Cat Fund from our own Ben Sorrells.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
Okay, Ben, tell us about the Cat Fund.
Yeah, I think we posted it on X/Twitter and a lot of stuff in the Facebook group, the Athletics Facebook group, and it's got a lot of good traction. But we've got a partnership with a company called LPT. So if you want more information on it, if you've got a local business, a way to support Sam Houston athletes and support Cat Fund, you can find it on the Facebook, the Athletics Facebook group. On our X/Twitter page, we'll have some more info rolling out in the forums and other social media stuff. But a great way for local businesses to get involved, and an app coming from them in February that you as a fan can get involved with to be able to support our athletes too. So that's kind of the big update this week, and some more information on that to come as the week rolls on.
Like it. I like it. That's good. All right. It's time. The time that all of you Cat fans are dreading, possibly. Am I going to do that, really? But first, hold on. We got to get to our records. We got to look at last game. Delaware was a 9.5-point favorite. The total was 56.5. Ben had Delaware 34-24, cover and over. He was wrong on both. I had Delaware 34-17. I had the Blue Hens covering and under. I was half wrong. I'll take half wrong, 50%. That usually got me passing in school. Sam Houston obviously won 26-23, so they covered and it was under. As it's thundering out, we got rain coming. Ooh. Season records. Ben is now 5-5 against the spread and 5-5 total. Ben, that's no longer making money at all.
I was 9-1 to start total. I don't know what's happened.
Well, you haven't been doing as well, but you know who was like 1-9 and making a comeback?
Yeah, it's getting close. You.
The Cats and this guy. They're 4-6. I'm 4-6 against the spread. 5-5 on the total now. You used to think if you were opposite of me, it was a good thing.
I know. Well, we need to be opposites on both.
What?
We agreed on the spread last week, and I think that screwed me up.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Well, let's get to what it is showing this week via all these Vegas lines are via Bet365. It opened at Middle Tennessee a -3.5 with a 48.5 total. Now the line hasn't changed. Still Middle Tennessee -3.5 and a total of 50.5. So Vegas is projecting a 27-24 Blue Raider victory. Some notes: Sam Houston is 3-7 against the spread this year, and over is now 6-4. But the over was in 6 of their first 8 games.
Defense getting better for Sam Houston.
Yeah, 1 and under. That Sam Houston has won and been under in the last 2 games, and they've covered in 3 of the last 5 against the spread. For Middle Tennessee State, they're 4-6 against the spread, and on the totals, 5-5. It's an interesting little deal. They have lost the last 2 against the spreads, though, and that has happened to them twice this season, but they have not lost 3 in a row against the spread. Ooh.
Third time's a charm, right?
Oh, is that going to have Cory not do the thing the Cats fans don't want me to do? They've hit 2 games have hit over in the last for Middle Tennessee, so they're scoring points, and they're giving up a lot of points, as we've seen as well. That's the longest streak this year. All right, Ben. What is your prediction?
Yeah, I picked Sam Houston to win in the Pick'em this week. I said it on the Blue Raider podcast, which will be out later this week, 24-23, Sam Houston. I think it's going to be really close, no matter who wins. And I'm saying 24-23, but I think probably one of those touchdowns for each team is going to be like a special teams or a defensive touchdown. I think it could be ugly. I don't think the offense scores all those points, but give me the under. Give me Sam Houston to cover and win outright this week.
Oh, what do I have? Well, first, listen. ChatGPT says this game is, and I quote, coin flippy and ugly. I thought that was great. They expect a low-scoring grinder in the mid-40s. Middle Tennessee with a 55% chance of winning, a 35% chance to win by 1 to 7 points, 20% chance of winning by 8 or more. Sam Houston, 28% chance to win by 1 to 7 points, 10% chance of winning by 8 or more points.
ChatGPT said there's a 7% chance of an overtime or a, quote, super weird ending. As for a score range, 40% chance the game ends in the mid-40s. Think Middle Tennessee 2017, 27-23. There's a 20% chance of a slog fest and or mistake build contest. 20% chance Middle Tennessee breaks it open with some explosives and kind of runs away. Think 27-17 or 34-24 range. 15% chance that Sam Houston controls the game and wins 24-17, 31-24-ish. 5% chance of, and I quote, full-on chaos or overtime, where the final score is in a 34-24 range with either team on top. ChatGPT themselves said Middle Tennessee wins 24-20. I think that's a solid prediction. But ChatGPT is half wrong. Vegas, Ben, is completely wrong. Blue Raiders are bad. And it ain't getting better. The Cats have positive energy and momentum. And here is what every Sam Houston fan did not want to hear from me today. Sam Houston extends its win streak to 3 games, 27-17.
So book a Blue Raider win, right?
And we're both agreeing, too, that Cats cover and under. How about that?
Yeah, so this is not good for Sam Houston fans.
The Blue Raider podcast is over there throwing a party tonight now.
Maybe. I don't know. They might want Mason out of town. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. We want to thank you so much for watching. Not 100% sure if we're going to have a show next week, with it being the day before Thanksgiving. There can be family things involved and some traveling. We will let you know. Pay attention to our social media pages at March to the Pod, March number 2 the Pod. Wherever you find us, we will let you know as soon as we know if we're going to get a show next week. But if we do, all you people have been clamoring for one of those ranking systems for Thanksgiving and the surroundings. Yeah. By the way, Blue Raider Pod, appreciate you giving us the Jinx win. You are very, very welcome. Thank you all for joining us this week. That's a wrap for March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. We're going to be back soon, maybe next week. In those Thanksgiving rankings, you definitely want to hear my opinions on some of that. And also some athletics coverage. Till then, Ben, take us home.
Eat 'em up, Cats, and beat the Blue Raiders, the Blue Ponies, the Blue Falcons, and the Cowboys tonight at Johnson Coliseum.
Why the hell we got to have turkey on Thanksgiving?